What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So, I believe it was last week. I saw a post. That post said that Turki Al-Sheikh has offered Mike Tyson $700 million for a rematch with Jake Paul. Now, the stipulation is that he had to knock Jake Paul out within 3 minutes of the first round, and he would get $700 million. Now, how much he's willing to pay Jake Paul, I don't know, but I doubt that it would be less than what Jake Paul made in his last fight. The reason that Turki Al-Sheikh is doing this, and a lot of people thought it was fake news at first, but a lot of people are talking about it, and there's an article within the news, the same news article that I posted. I didn't post the whole thing. The second half of that was the explanation of if Mike Tyson knocks him out within the first 3 minutes. Now, first off, when I look at that, I think this is a joke. This is how crappy boxing has become. Now, Turki Al-Sheikh has been doing a good job so far with the type of cards he's been putting on and really trying to give people the best matches. But this is a joke. Now, the reason Turki Al-Sheikh wants to do this is because, like he said, Jake Paul is a joke. And he cares about the way Mike Tyson is viewed. So he feels like he wants to get Mike in there, knock Jake Paul out, shut his mouth up, and then, if you cut the head off the snake, the body dies, right? Then the head will die as well. Well, who is basically the biggest star of the Misfits? So, you see, the thing about it is, Turki Al-Sheikh realizes what I told you guys when I watched that crap of a fight, that you didn't watch a real fight. When you saw Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones, you did not watch a real fight. Okay? This man said, I don't remember if I posted it or not, but Mike Tyson said that it was hard to walk, but come fight night, he'll be ready. Then Mike Tyson also let us know that he had 8 blood transfusions in June, and he fights a guy in November. Well, let's be real, okay? The only reason that people mostly thought Mike Tyson was going to destroy Jake Paul is not because of how great Mike Tyson is right now, because he's no longer great. What he was a long time ago. It's because of how sucky Jake Paul is. But what people fail to realize, when Daniel Dubois calls out his name, he's not going to fight Daniel Dubois. Whether it was racist Ryan Garcia, it doesn't matter if they bring up Canelo. The only thing that he cares about, Jake Paul, is the payday, and he's no longer undefeated, but he doesn't want to lose anymore, okay? Because he knows once he gets brutally knocked out and people realize, damn, Jake is not as good as we thought he was, it's over. He's not going to be able to jump in there and get those $40 million paydays and things like that. So the fact that people keep calling his name, so when you type in the search of Daniel Dubois, well, you keep looking at videos, guess what? Something with Daniel Dubois versus Jake Paul is going to pop up. If you put his name in the same sentence of Canelo, at some point, the algorithm, bow. Canelo's name is coming up, Jake Paul's name is coming up. So every time his name is matched up with a different fighter, every time there's videos being done about him and they're matching him up, well, that's still people watching him. And even for the non-casuals that want to see Jake Paul lose, well, the thing is, it's bringing attention to him. See, so when the Eddie Hearns of the world and different people, the Sean Porters and all these people saying, oh, he's great for boxing because he gets more eyes on the sport. And I keep telling you guys, no, he bring more eyes to himself from his misfits. And even for people that wanted to see Mike knock his head off. I watched Mike Tyson in training, like I said. I could see Mike Tyson's balance was gone. He had no mobility. He struggled to do everything. Every exercise he did, and he's walking like he's limping around. He shows up to the fight with a leg brace on. People had no problem acknowledging and pointing out the fact that Delphine Persoon showed up in a fight against Alicia Baumgardner, wearing a big long brace on her knee, but they act like Mike Tyson came up there and he was just 21 again and ready to rumble. Now, there's a lot of 58-year-olds that will knock Jake Paul out that you don't even know of. The problem, okay, what people don't understand, you see, the hatred that people have in boxing, just in life. Let me show you something. When Floyd Mayweather fought Conor McGregor, did you hear Sean Porter? Did you hear Teddy Atlas? Did you hear anybody saying, oh, this is great for the sport, it brings more eyes to the sport to the degree? No, it was basically, let's try to piss on it, because they were more interested in trying to say, how is Floyd going to say he's 50 and old by fighting a guy that's not even a fighter, which is bullshit. He is a fighter. He's not a boxer. He's a combat sport fighter. Okay, and basically, he agreed to this shit and made a ton of money as well. It's funny how that tainted the sport. Everything involving Floyd tainted the sport. But when other people come in, not as nearly successful as what Floyd and Conor did, not nearly as successful as what Floyd and Pacquiao did. And Floyd was only breaking his own records. Other people, they're not doing that. But at the same time, what happens? They wanted to bash Floyd, who is a legitimate fighter. Now, you take this guy, Jake Paul. Here's the funny thing. They just put him on the video game, Undisputed, and gave him an 84 rating. So, do you understand what I'm saying? Hate him, like him, love him. He's being talked about. Then he does exactly what I told you. Oh, yeah, I'll fight Daniel Dubois. I'll have my people call his people bullshit. What did he do? I said this dude might turn around and say, I retire. I'm going to retire from boxing, or some bullshit. I'm stepping away for a little while. And what did he do? He so-called announced his retirement, supposedly to go to the WWE and join his brother, Logan Paul. I told you guys he's not going to fight anybody in their prime. He's not going to fight anybody that's much older than him but can still whoop some ass. That's why I said, guys, if you really wanted to see Jake get his ass whooped, you all should have been pushing for, why don't he fight against Francis Ngannou? And when Francis Ngannou was asked about it, he said, in fairness, let's put them in a cage and let's put him and his brother in there, and he'll fight the both of them to make it fair. That's how much Francis Ngannou respects Jake Paul. I've been telling you guys this. Jake Paul is a joke, man. But you see, it's so funny. Y'all bash Floyd and Conor McGregor fight, and mostly because Floyd won, and y'all wanted to see him lose, basically. But it's so funny how that wasn't good for the sport. And you got people tuning in to see a legitimate boxer who retired and came back, right? Did what he did, and did it well, and carried this motherfucker. And bottom line is, you guys wasn't walking around here, what was all of this shit about this is good for the sport? No. Mike Tyson, everybody, Roy Jones, they yeah, he's smartest guy, you gotta give him credit for being smart. Yeah, I know. They say all these things, but at the same time, let's not forget, back in the day, they was trying to get Mike Tyson versus Butterbean. That never happened. Butterbean did get in there and fight a couple of, guys when they were past their prime, yeah. But Butterbean was known for tough men competition. So he was in the same position as Jake Paul in terms of he's not a boxer, but he was in there fighting. Butterbean would have fucked Jake Paul up. Believe that. Butterbean would have knocked Jake Paul the fuck out. Butterbean had the heart to get in there. Kimbo Slice had the heart to get in there. But these guys wasn't walking around talking about, I'm better than half the fighters on your roster. I'm this, I'm that, and making all this noise. And no, they understood where they were, what their capabilities were and what they weren't, but they were willing to go in there and fight anybody. Big difference. Kimbo Slice and Butterbean wasn't picking and choosing and dipping and dodging and cherry picking. No, they was ready to fight whoever to get that money. That's not what Jake Paul is doing. Now, one can say, well, he's smarter than them because he's cherry picking the right people. And you honor that? Do you respect that? Kimbo Slice would have knocked Jake Paul the fuck out. The best thing that could have happened for Jake Paul is that Kimbo runs out of gas, because Kimbo, he definitely had a problem with his gas tank. He got tired quick. The more active he was. But I think he knocks out Jake Paul in one round. 1 or 2 rounds, Jake Paul goes to sleep. Jake Paul is a joke. First of all, if he was to actually have this rematch with Mike Tyson, who really cares? I'm pretty sure a lot of people would go, well, hey, man, maybe Mike got one last hurrah. Maybe, crossing their fingers just to be disappointed again. You think Jake Paul is going to stand there and fight with Mike? No, he's going to get on his back foot and run. And basically, Mike's not collecting that $700 million in that situation. And you'll see the same thing. You see, guys think that Mike Tyson still have it in him. He just need the right situation, the right training, this, that. Look, whatever went down, Mike Tyson agreed to that fake fixed fight. So all this shit talking about Mike Tyson held back, he could have knocked out Jake Paul. Well, people are saying the same thing about Jake Paul. He held back. He had too much respect for Mike Tyson. Why you guys are sitting up here writing your own little novels about what happened and trying to make excuses? Look at what's right in front of you. You watched a trash fight. And a lot of people believe they saw a real fight. I read that Mike Tyson was even being sued because they was trying to get him in a different fight, and they feel like he turned that down. I didn't even get into it because all I've been seeing is he said, she said, he said, she said, and it's tiring. I mean, I literally sat here and I watched. I was pulling up different fighters' names. I'm trying to see interviews, and it's like all I'm seeing is this one don't want to fight, that one don't want to fight, this one is ducking, that one is ducking, this one. And I see Lamont Roach, I see Gervonta Tank Davis going back and forth. I'm seeing different people saying different things. I'm seeing the situation where Virgil Ortiz made a claim that Jerron Boots Ennis ducked him. Jerron Boots Ennis said it's bullshit, and it's just a bunch of back and forth. And, it's more fun for me to report news of the next fight happening. But that's all you seem to get now. It's not even seem. That's what it is. It's so difficult to get the fights that we really want to see. This is what I say to Turki Al-Sheikh. You said your vision for boxing is different. You have a different vision, right? Fine. Man, fuck Jake Paul and Mike Tyson rematch. If you're willing to give this man $700 million for knocking out Jake Paul within 3 rounds, and this would be an incentive for Mike to go in there and try harder, I get all of that. Mike just doesn't have it. He's done. Don't waste your time. What you could actually do, if you're willing to give up that kind of bread, man, listen here. You could sit down with Terrence Crawford and Jerron Boots Ennis and say, man, listen, you want this money, right? You said $20 million. I'll put the $20 million up. But what you guys need to do, for one, this needs to be built up to be a big fight. This is why I said Terrence Crawford in the way shot himself in the foot. Remember, a long time ago, I said, this situation with Crawford might backfire. I said, because if you look at who's out there and what's really going on, Terrence Crawford is going to find himself in a position where Errol Spence, and he's trying to get the Canelo fight, which definitely is no guarantee, which more likely won't happen, but he may find himself where Spence is the only option to get another big payday. Was I wrong? Canelo, no fight. Okay? He didn't want to fight Benavidez and Morrell, but even they went up in weight. Okay? Errol Spence, look at him. He hasn't fought since then. Crawford fought once since then. And pretty much, Jermell Charlo, we don't know what's going on with him. Fundora is a weak opponent. Tim Tszyu, nothing special about him. And he just lost 2 straight fights in a row. You got no Keith Thurman. He's at one. I don't even know what Keith Thurman is doing. Nobody even cares. But we didn't get a Keith Thurman versus Terrence Crawford. We didn't get a Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence. We didn't get a Keith Thurman versus the Jerron Boots Ennis. Turki Al-Sheikh, you spend time with Crawford. If you're really thinking about it, you could say, fuck this Canelo fight, because Canelo doesn't want this shit. He's made it clear. You need, and Jerron Boots Ennis need, to build up a fight. Of course, with my involvement, and this needs to be the next big fight for both of you guys. You are a guy standing on top of the mountain. Jerron Boots Ennis has basically climbed Mount Everest, and all he needs is that one more step, and he's right up there with you. Either he wins, he loses, or it's a legitimate draw. One or the other. But you guys need to make this fight happen. Now, if Terrence Crawford wins, he rides off into the sunset with the win and the money he wanted. If he loses, unless his pride gets in the way and he decides he wants to fight again, he still have the payday he wanted. But now, what you have in Jaron Boots Ennis is your next star. Jaron Boots Ennis is already, 28? Or whatever. So, these guys are getting up there quicker than people really understand. He could take that $700 million and say, fuck this, man. We're going to make this happen. Boots versus Crawford. Dubois versus the winner of, Usyk and Fury. Hey, let's get a new way on the card. Let's sit down with Clarissa Shields and Katie Taylor. Well, not Katie. I don't want to see Katie and Shields. I don't want to see that fight. Michaela Mayer, because Michaela Mayer does have the height and could probably carry that weight better than Katie Taylor could or Amanda Serrano. They're too small as far as I'm concerned. Like they, and their styles. I that shit would look like child abuse, man. But let's get these. Let me see if I can persuade. I don't even like the fight between her and Clarissa Shields and what's the little woman's name, man? Alicia Baumgartner. But what I'm saying, if it's about put up or shut up, Alicia, what do you have to lose? You walk around 150 something pounds, right? Let's make this fight happen. You're going to get paid more money than you've ever been paid. Now we can make this statement as well that, hey, guess what? We paid two women the highest amount of money they've been paid. Make a statement in that pay-per-view, okay, or whatever, and on that card. We were able to finally get Boots and Crawford to fight. We were, you understand what I mean? Let's look and say the winner of David Morrell and Benavidez. Hey, listen, man. Who can we get in there with this guy Jairo Pataya? Let's you understand? Can we get him versus the guy that just beat Bivol? Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's put nothing but quality fights on. That's what he's been trying to do, and it's what he's been doing so far. But let's do this where we're going to take this $700 million, and every fight is a main event level fight. Every fight. Invest that money into help building the future stars. Like he said, in the 70s and the 80s, boxing was the number one sport. Yeah, long fucking time ago. So if you can take $700 million to give to a 58-year-old man that just had 8 blood transfusions and all this shit, and he's going on to fight against the same guy in a rematch, who cares, man? A guy that just landed 18 fucking punches. I don't care about all the details. Why? Because with all of the details, just because, whatever we were aware of or wasn't, doesn't change the fact that, these issues existed and the fight still went on. I mean, let's be real. When Muhammad Ali fought Larry Holmes, Freddie Pacheco told a story about how Muhammad Ali failed his physical and they swept it under the rug just to make the fight happen. So it's not, above people to do things like that. They're not above that. It's not below them to say, that they won't do something like that. So with Mike Tyson, who really gives a fuck, man? Him and Jake Paul, I don't give a fuck. Me and my son sat there on the couch, and it was late night, and my son said, Pop, you want to watch that Mom Jake Paul fight? He's like, it's on Netflix, right? I said, yeah, we can check it out. Sitting there, spending time with my son, chilling. And we sat there, we watched the damn fight. And we didn't sit there and watch it when it first happened. We watched the replay. We didn't care about that. We went out and did what we did, came home and chilled, and we watched the fight on a late night. Watched the replay of it. I'm not shocked about anything that happens. But this is the type of stuff that I'm saying. Let me say this too. If you're going to implement your vision into boxing and you want to take it to another level and you want to bring back that feeling like it used to be, then you have to think outside the box 360 all around. Why? Because as long as there are other promotions, other people putting fights on, you still have people that do this whole pick and choose. Oh, I'm PBC, or I'm Matchroom, I'm this, I'm that. What's funny is, you know how they have fights on with the PBC, and PBC has this Amazon Prime deal. It's funny how people was always talking shit about, yeah, man, they got that Prime deal, they don't need Showtime no more, blah, blah, blah. But you notice nobody's really talking about these fights that's happening on Amazon Prime, and I have it. And I have Netflix. And I have Max. I have a bunch of shit, okay? I watch a lot of One Fighting Championships. That's what I've really been liking more and more, is watching the One Fighting Championships. And I've been watching PFL as well. I watch a lot of different things. But reporting this news, man, it's like boxing it's hard. It's really tough to talk about this shit. I can do it. I just don't want to. Because all we're doing is making videos about he said, she said. Why are you motherfuckers not fighting? What are you bitching about now? So, if Turki can't get a guy like Canelo to fight who he want, who the people want to see him fight, who the public want to see, the fans that pay their hard-earned money, and, I don't give a fuck if it's Crawford, whoever, with this shit about, I'm at the point I can fight whoever I want. Fuck y'all. I don't care what y'all feel, what y'all say, what y'all whatever. And you motherfuckers are running shelling money out to support their careers. But at the end of the fucking day, I know it makes a whole lot more sense to invest that money in building up the stars of tomorrow. Instead of sitting here investing money into Mike Tyson, who's not going to knock Jake Paul out. I don't give a fuck if you said fucking $7 billion to try to motivate him. It doesn't make a difference. He's not going to do it, and who cares? And then you're going to build a card around that bullshit, and that's going to be your main event? Come on, man. And it would look stupid to not make it your main event, because there's nobody else on that card that's going to even get paid close to that should he get the knockout. So what's the purpose? You see, when Crawford was saying there's no, interest in fighting against Boots Ennis, it's like, man, you guys love shooting each other down. You love trying to make your opponent seem like they're not on your level, but then you go fight somebody else that's not on your level. And then your fan base make an excuse for you. You don't have to lie to people. Boots is a solid fighter. Build that dude up. Build that dude up. Create your own lane with the next fighter. I'd have been on the phone like, Boots, listen. You a solid fighter. You don't have the kind of popularity that I wish you had, so we could make this a super fight, but you do have the skills and the ability. Let's make this fight happen. We need to promote the fuck out of this. And we need to sit down, get our teams together. We need to make our own lane. Just the same way how Keyshawn Davis and the other fighters on that card showed you. We had over 10,000 people in this building to watch a bunch of guys on the come up. Not one superstar. Everybody on that card was on the come up. And you tell me you don't think that Jerron Boots Ennis versus Terrence Crawford could do more than 10,000 people? You don't think that if you took a card, in whether they were the main event or co-main event, whatever, you telling me that that's not a fucking marquee fight? Fuck yes it is. But no, fighters are too busy saying, you're not on my level, fuck you, you ain't fought nobody, you ain't. That's all these guys know how to do. Man, if I'm involved in anything, I want to build it up, and I want everybody on the card to shine. I'm not focused on somebody outshining me. I have a job to do, and I'm going to come and do it. At the same time, you motherfuckers are going to know Aries ain't dodging no smoke. Aries is for real. He's here to really fucking fight. He want that work. This is what fighters are not doing. See, fanboys are so delusional and so childish. You guys are so naive that you'll sit up there and support the fighter that you want to win. Yeah, man, he said that motherfucker ain't on his level. Man, he don't even want to fight that. This is what you guys do. And you think that that's healthy for the sport. It's not. It's really not. And what you guys fail to realize, okay, is that you got a guy like Terrence Crawford who's 37 years old. There's no huge paydays out there for Terrence Crawford. other than the guys that don't want to fight him. It's a huge payday if Turki Al-Sheikh is involved. And that guy, I don't give a fuck what none of you say. You see, Crawford doesn't want to fight as long as you guys think he does. You guys are the ones coming up with this, he should fight this guy, this. No, he already made it clear what he wants to do. So the thing about it is, there's no rematch with Errol Spence. How many times have you guys saw a thumbnail that said, it's on? Errol Spence versus Fundora. It's off. The fight's postponed. It's on. Fundora versus Terrence Crawford. It's off. It's back on. Fundora versus Errol Spence. How many times have we seen this nonsense? I mean, we've seen all types of shit. It's gotten to the point, whether you guys realize it or not, where content creators are making up lies. They're not even hearing this shit from nobody. They're making up shit. Making up their own scenarios. Process of elimination. Let's look at who's who. What fight makes more sense. And then come and give you guys bullshit. And you guys eat it up. You guys sit here. I'm going to tell you exactly what the fuck is going on in the minds of people now. I'll give you a perfect example. We had a family function. So we had it was probably a good 20-something people there. And we had 2 tables put together in the restaurant. And it was about 12 of us at one table and, all spread out. And you guys remember that movie, Waist Deep, with Megan Good, Tyrese Gibson? I don't remember the little kid name that was in it, that played. He was another, that starred in the movie with them. Lorenz Tate was in the movie. The Game was in the movie. So what happens in that scene where they ditched the cops and Tyrese was in the car, so they all chasing him, and then Megan Good took his son, and then they went out after all the smoke cleared, and okay, they went their way. Well, if you remember, there was a scene in the movie. Remember, Tyrese was buying his kid. He bought him the horse, and he wanted the other horse or whatever in hell. And okay, so in the movie, when Tyrese called them on the phone, they were talking, and they're smiling and talking about where they were going and what they wanted to do, their plans, and then he goes, I gotta go, right? Told his son he gotta go away for a while, right? Now, you remember, they relocated. I don't remember if they were in Mexico, Tijuana, Mexico, whatever. It was somewhere. And if you remember that scene where they were in a house, and they were up in the morning, she was getting him ready for school, and then the kid says something about his father coming back. And then Megan Good says to him, she's like, sweetheart, your dad is not coming back. He's like, and he goes, I know. It just makes me feel better to think that he might. This is what a lot of you do. You want something to happen so bad that you just start imagining things. And it sounds good to you. It feels good to you. So you want this to happen. Now, they leave. And they have a beach house, so they're walking on the beach, if you remember. Okay, and if you didn't, I'm telling you. So they're walking on the beach, and she's asking him about his Spanish. So she'll point to something and ask him, what is it? And he'll respond in Spanish. And so they're walking. She's pointing this out, that out. And then all of a sudden, she said, what's that? And he looks and he goes, Dad! And he starts running, and she's looking like, what? And all of a sudden, you see a pair of legs, and you see the hand holding the little black horse, and he's running, and the music starts playing, and that movie ends with them running up to each other, hugging and embracing each other. That's how that movie ended. No sequel. That's that. No movie, the end, then all of a sudden they show a part 4, nothing. That's just how it ends. And people were talking about the movie, and my family, close friends and family, were talking about the movie at the table. And this is what I heard. Yeah, that was a good movie too. But they got married though. You think so? Hell yeah, because look how the movie ended, man. And plus, like, you could tell, like, he really was feeling her. And she was feeling him. They just never got a chance to really, like, bond because they was on a run. You know what I'm saying? But she took care of his son and all that. So, she loved him, man. They got married. Yeah, but even if they did, they probably broke up because you see how things are, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, these broads, bro, like, she probably start pressing them like, yo, you need to make more money, or I want a mansion, or, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but they probably didn't even get married like that. Because think about this, too. He was gone. You ain't see her call him or nothing. He probably like, yo, bitch, you ain't call. And I'm sitting here looking like, you got to be shitting me, man. I watched people I love and care for sit here and was drawing conclusions to a fucking movie that has no sequel. They didn't watch a trailer. They didn't see nothing. They're literally creating their alternate endings because that's all you saw was them embrace, run up to each other, and that's how the fucking movie went off. And they're talking about the movie like whatever each one was thinking, this is what actually happened. Nah, man. Nah, y'all probably both wrong. Because if you think about it, nah, but I think this happened, that happened. Oh, yeah, but this... Like, what the... Are you shitting me, man? This is what they were doing. And I'm just sitting there looking at them. I'm just sitting there looking at them like, wow. They are literally sitting here making shit up. You know what it reminds me of as well? Like on the movie Life. When they were locked up. And yeah, man... You know, they've been by the Cotton Club. Yeah, the Cotton Club nice, but they ain't got nothing on Ray's Boom Boom Room. I remember he made that up. What's they talking about? Boom Boom Room. Yeah, the Boom Boom Room. That's my spot. Now, they realize, oh, he's making this up. But he's making this up. Now, he really wanted to open up a Ray's Boom Boom Room. But to get through tough times in prison, he's sharing it with the other inmates. And they know he's making it up, but it sounds good and it feels better to even just imagine things. Remember they had this scene where they were all imagining what their role was at the Boom Boom Room and all that. This is what I'm saying. This is what people do. This is a fucked up era of time. Because the truth doesn't matter. Facts don't matter. It's all about what you want to believe, what you choose to believe. This is bullshit. This isn't boxing. This is gossip. This is garbage. It's nonsense. It's trash. These fucking fighters don't want to fight the best fighters. I mean, I sat here and I watched Lamont Roach and Tank Davis. Tank Davis is claiming he's going to retire, and he's talking all of this shit. He's belittling Lamont Roach. You know, I don't understand all this fake buildup. You know, you guys, they go through this shit every fight. You're not on my level. You trash. You ain't beat nobody. You ain't do. And it's like, why the fuck would anybody want to watch you fight against a trash opponent? Why? Why would you want to invest your time? I don't give a fuck if it's free. Why? You think that little of yourself, well, my life ain't shit. I got nothing to do. I guess I'll just sit here and watch a trash fight. They're selling these fights as my opponent is garbage. He's not on my level. So why the fuck do I want to watch? You see, Jake Paul understands the mindset of people. He understands he has a big YouTube internet following. He understands he's creating a lot of enemies where people want to see him lose as well. But he also understands that as long as that money's there, hey man, that's all I care about. And he knows that people will tune in just to see you lose. Well, he's capitalizing off of all of this. I said a long time ago, these boxers need to look at what Jake Paul is doing and understand how to promote themselves. You see, the difference with them is they're real deal fighters. Jake isn't. But he has a list of legends on his fucking resume, non-boxer and boxer, to say he fought and beat. Even though they were way past their prime. Does it matter? This man made $40 fucking million. And you got a guy like Terrence Crawford, who's a 2-weight division, undisputed champion, and he's begging for 20 to fight against a guy that doesn't have the notoriety that he needs, where this is considered a super fight. But yet, he doesn't have the smarts to understand how to promote and how to build up his own opponent. I mean, listen, man, this shit is easy. It's elementary. But once again, the fan base of these fighters are so naive and stupid that whatever the fighters say, they back them up instead of thinking, nah, fuck this, man. Just like this fight was built to make you think you was going to see Ali versus Frazier 4 or something. Like this is going to, you know, no. You saw an old, beat up, washed up fighter, okay, that's just basically looked like he's 2 footsteps away from sitting in a fucking wheelchair against a 27-year-old, slick talking, you know, shit fucking fighter, but know how to pick him. And it's so funny that a guy who makes his living off of cherry picking you praise, but then you turn around and you want to try to assassinate a Floyd Mayweather or somebody else it's so funny to me, man, because I was talking to a relative the other day, and he was like, yeah, man, but you can't compare them wins that Floyd had to Sugar Ray and them had wars. And I said, okay, I hear what you're saying, right? And that's your opinion. I said, it's flawed as fuck, but tell me one war. Just tell me. Tell me the war that you seen Ray Leonard have. Tell me what war. I'm not talking about a good boxing match. Tell me what war you seen him have. And he's like, him and Hearns. And I said, no. You consider him and Hearns, you consider that fight a war? No, it was a very solid fight, a very solid chess match. I said, but I wouldn't consider that a fucking war. It was a great fight. You can't slight the fight at all. It was a great fight. I said, but you said wars. Now, I'm quoting you. You consider Ray Leonard versus Hearns a war? I mean, without it was like you said, it was a great fight. It's okay. Now, I say Hearns and Hagler had a war. Did Hearns and Leonard look anything like that? Nah. Okay, so now, what's the other war that Ray Leonard had? Because it wasn't the Hagler fight. Well, like the Duran fight's okay. You consider the Duran-Leonard fight a war. Two guys walked out that ring, not bleeding, swole up, cut, nothing. You consider that fight a war. Nobody stayed in the hospital for nothing. It was a fight that Ray Leonard fought stupidly. And he lost the fucking fight. And he couldn't make the transition to let me box. Let me get back to what made me Ray Leonard. So he lost, then came back, and the rematch, it looked like Duran didn't belong in the ring with him. So was that a war? Nah, okay. Wilfredo Benitez and Ray Leonard had a nice, solid chess match. Great fight. It was a chess match. You consider that a war? He goes, no. I said, okay, so what war did you see Ray Leonard have? Him and Hagler, you consider that a war? It was a great fight. But Ray Leonard boxed and moved like he was supposed to. So what war did you see Ray Leonard have? Now, if you want to look at a fight that was more of a war, it would be more like him and Terry Norris. Somewhat. Because Norris held back because his corner told him, hey, be careful. This is still Ray Leonard. Don't get greedy. Right? But he pretty much beat Ray up. Donnie Lalonde was outboxing Ray till Ray knocked him out. And then he went in there, he retired after the Leonard Norris fight, and he came back and he fought Camacho and got beat up again. So what wars are you saying? I said, even if you look at Iran, Barkley, and Hearns, it wasn't a war. It was a good fight. And then, he wound up knocking Hearns out. I said, now you use the term war. Duran and Hagler had a good fight. I said, but when you see, this is the thing. You guys are so fixated on trying to put certain fights or fighters in a certain category to where you're saying a guy who is so good that he just make guys like that are solid, great fighters look like shit. Like, I said, so I can see society then got you convinced that Floyd ain't fighting nobody. Floyd did it right. So Floyd did all of what he did to nobodies. Yet every one of these fucking champions, he still beat more world champions than all of these guys. And he beat all these fucking Hall of Famers, these future Hall of Famers. But you're giving credit to the people he beat, but not to him. And your excuse is what? Then you gotta, take into consideration, Ray Leonard didn't even have 40 fights. You understand what I'm saying? Ray Leonard retired, came back. So he did that shit as well. None of these guys, Roy Jones, Leonard, Hearns, none of them, Hagler, all of these guys, they had great careers. They were great fighters. But when you sit and say you can't compare them, just like saying, people don't point at the fact that Roberto Duran was a fucking lightweight and went all the way up, ended up fighting against Hagler as a middleweight, gave Hagler a tough fight, fought Iran Barkley. People don't think about this. This was a lightweight. Marvin Hagler never went up or down. He fought everybody at middleweight. So Hearns, Leonard, the Beast Mugabe, all these fucking guys. Durant, they came up. They came up in weight. So everything you accredit to Hagler is at middleweight, yes. But nobody points that out. But you got people going, oh, but Floyd fought at the catch weight and Floyd did. Okay, but Hagler stayed at one weight. Not that there's anything wrong with it. The point is, you're trying to give accolades to people that they didn't fucking earn. You can't say he went up and did this and he got title at 168, 154, 160, 175. No, he stayed at one weight class. One. Which is why when I hear people talk about now how, oh, fighters got to go up and down. No, it's not that you have to go up and down. That's just what fighters do. Hagler stayed at 160. Mayweather went up in weight. And he won all these different titles. He did what he did. And, you know, all this shit that people, you know, do, and I'm saying what I'm saying to make the point of bringing the facts to you that this is what was happening. But no, people within boxing want to shit on world-class fighters, but they want to pump up a fucking shit fighter like Jake Paul and then try to make Jake Paul something that he's not. And I point out the fact they put him on the boxing game undisputed and gave him an 84 fucking rating. Yeah, 84. Jake Paul. Then they got certain fighters on there that's like a 79 or a 78, and in real life, those fighters will whoop the shit out of Jake Paul. Jake Paul's a big star. Let's put him on the game. Yeah. They got Zhang in that package with him, Buster Douglas, Morales, Antonio Barrera. Yeah, but who is the guy in the front when everybody's behind? Jake Paul. Do you understand what's happening? Do you understand? Boxing is a chess game, because even when you want to see somebody lose, if you can manipulate the system of the monopoly board and get this person to, hey, let's agree to this deal and get them in there, and even if they win, you're going to make a ton of money. The one thing about Turki Al-Sheikh, though, he has no problem letting you know who he want to see want to fight. I feel like this. It's his money to do whatever the fuck he wants to do with it. I feel strongly it would be wiser to invest that money into real deal fighters that people want to see, need to see. I'd get Keyshawn Davis on that motherfucker. I'd be sitting there going, listen, man, you know, look, Keyshawn, you want Tank. Tank don't want to fight you. Tank is talking about retiring. Tank is doing all, you know, hey, look, man, I'm going to try to get you in there with Devin Haney. I'm going to try to get you in there against Shakur Stevenson, you know, or, you know, but no. This is my point. I don't see Keyshawn Davis turning that money down. I don't see him doing that shit. I'm trying to get these guys in the best possible positions possible. Now, we know what fighters are going to be available for whatever cards, but this is what I'd be trying to do. I'd be out here trying to get I mean, why not, man? Why not? You know, Shields and Michaela Mayer would be a head turner, because let's be real, people want to see this fucking rematch between Michaela Mayer and Alicia Baumgartner. And now a lot of people have turned on Alicia Baumgartner. It's like how before, because, you know, like I said, they didn't care about her. They just cared about the fact she had a lot of negative things to say about Clarissa Shields, someone that they hate more than they hate her. That's all that was. Now they're saying, oh, she's dirty, she never fucking proved to be clean and all this and that, right? You want to know what storyline will come out of that too? Well, Michaela Mayer is fighting against Clarissa Shields at 154. You know, Baumgartner refused to go to 154 to fight against Clarissa. She refused to fucking go up and fight against Michaela Mayer. She claimed she wanted to fight, but then she made no effort to do so. Michaela Mayer has already moved up and said she wanted that smoke with Shields. Now we got this fight. So basically, the two women, she's fought one, but the two women that she didn't make, either one of these fucking women, anybody from their, anybody, do you understand? Because this is what they do in boxing. It doesn't matter what she say. The questions for Alicia is going to be, yeah, Alicia, you're denying it, but why the fuck didn't you go up? Shit, Michaela Mayer did. And here's the thing. I believe Shields will wipe the fucking floor with Michaela Mayer. And after she does so, people are definitely going to look and say, nah, she killed Alicia Baumgartner. Now Baumgartner's going to have to step her game up. And here's the sad thing for Baumgartner. If somehow she gets a fight with Katie Taylor, if somehow she gets a fight with Amanda Serrano, if she wins, all of her haters are going to say she only won because they were older. Blah, blah, blah. She's going to find herself in a position of, I need someone to fight that I can beat, that has real strong credibility on their name. She's in no position to tell Clarissa Shields what weight they're going to fight at. And if she's not willing to go to 154, she can say whatever she wants. But, I mean, let's be real. I mean, even Sky Nicholson versus, Alicia Baumgartner would be, more of a respectable fight. And Sky Nicholson has to come up. She has to come up. Because does Baumgartner want to go down? No. But Baumgartner is not saying anything. We're not getting any news about any fights of her coming up with any top-level woman. We now know that the Delphine Persoon fight is not going to happen. But, I'm just saying, man, Turki can do so many different things with $700 million. As opposed to giving this shit to someone we've already seen fight in a dead-ass fucking fight. How do you think a man is going to land 18 punches in a fucking 8-round fight? He landed 18 punches. You think somehow he's going to turn the clock back. This is what people are doing. Boxing has gotten to the point, common sense is just like, I wish it was contagious, but it's not. And for what Turki's trying to do, man, it's just like, okay, I feel like he's getting he's getting too emotionally involved in Mike Tyson and Jake Paul situation, to where this shit makes zero sense to me, man. Because if it's all about money grabs, then stop talking about legacy. Stop talking about Mike Tyson restoring some respect on his name. Stop talking about that shit. Because at the end of the fucking day, nobody really gives a fuck about this fight. And the people that might go, yeah, man, I just want to see Mike go out with a bang, they'll be the only ones, really. Do we really need to see this fight again? I don't give a fuck. I watch that fight, and I watch boxing, like, as much as I can. I grew up loving the sport. But let's be real, y'all. I watched that fight one time and one time only. I have no interest in watching that shit again. It's trash. It's trash. It was fake. I don't respect it. And at the end of the day, I'm watching the hypocrisy of people who are sitting here applauding bullshit, but you shit on a guy who did so much for the sport, contributed a lot to the sport, and pretty much got a lot of fighters big paydays, the biggest paydays of their career, just to turn around, like I said, and fucking praise a YouTuber. I don't care about the fight. Mike can do what he wants. They're all grown-ass men. His health, he has to consider his health more than anybody else. People want to make their money, and whatever happens, happens. But I can tell you this. The only thing I see happening if Mike Tyson decides to jump back in there is him embarrassing himself even further. Lewis went back there. Lennox gave him some pep talk. Holyfield gave him some pep talk, came back there and showed him some love, and yes, it's time. Yeah, they want to see this guy from their era go out there and shut this young boy up. That's not what happened at all, yo. So, people are going to do what they want to do, but for you guys that keep investing into this bullshit, then you guys turn around and complain about it, you got yourselves to blame for this shit, man. It's garbage. The only thing I care about my garbage is that it goes out on time so the truck can be in the morning. I don't want to indulge in garbage. That was trash. It was trash. Fuck Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor 3. No, fuck all of that shit, man. Move on. Let's get somebody else in there. Let's make these fights happen. This is what boxing is supposed to be about. The business model changed, the mindsets of the fighters changed. At the end of the day, businessmen are going to be businessmen. The problem is, nobody's really thinking about the sport progressing. They're thinking about money. How much money we can make. Turki's on to something in terms of what he's been doing so far. But I think Turki need to really rethink what his vision on this Mike Tyson Jake Paul situation. I would much rather see this money invested into better fighters that's really out, that like give these people, you already created a platform, people are going to tune in, let the world see what Keyshawn Davis can do. You know, let them see Clarissa Shields versus Michaela May at 154. Let them see this shit. Let them see, you know how solid Daniel Dubois is. You know, let's get Arthur Beterbiev on there. Let's get this rematch with what's my man name? Ben Whitaker. You know, let's get these fights cracking, man. This is what I'm saying. Let's not build fake storylines up. Let's build stories. Let's build stories. Okay, dialogue with the stories that are surrounding these men. Because even for Ben Whitaker, he has people saying that, hey man, you purposely got yourself thrown over that rope with your opponent just so you could pull that fake, oh, I can't walk bullshit, but you got your ass kicked, pretty much, right? This is exactly what I'm saying. You know, there's stories to be told within the stories, right? And this is what you need to do. And you put these, these promotional packages together for your product. This is how you get people invested, man. Not by trying to fucking get a fighter that just had 8 blood transfusions and was saying that it's hard to even walk. And it showed, a fucking second chance to go on there and he gets $700 million if he knocks this guy out. That alone is supposed to get people attention to go, oh shit, I want to see if you're going to get that $700 million. What the fuck do I care? I'm not getting that money. He is. That's his business. Me, as someone who does this shit, it's funny, man, because I'm a peaceful guy. I'm a good guy, not a nice guy. And from time to time, I get that I wish a motherfucker would try me. I feel that at times, like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not a troublemaker. I don't look for trouble. But it's times where I really some people need to just be humbled and shut the fuck up. And I sit here and watch these fucking guys getting paid millions of dollars, holding out on fights. They're scared to lose their O. The way the sport is designed, I understand it, but at the same time, that warrior mentality is not there in these guys. They just want to fight when the money's right, and only when the money's right. And my whole thing about that is the time ticks away, and you go, damn, this motherfucker 29 already? He was just 23. Like, yeah, exactly. Turki Al-Sheikh. We need better than Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, man. Let that ship sail. It's over with. Mike is good. Jake is good. It's over with. Put that money to better use, man. There's better fights out there that the public deserve. Simple. If you guys learn how to package these fights better, see, there's so much into the promotional little commercials and shit. Oh, that commercial was okay, the ad for it. Okay, fuck it. No, if they learn how to package shit better, give it more of a premium feel. So put the hype around these fighters. So guess what? Win, lose, or draw, people expect, let me see what this guy got. And you go in there, and if you put on, even in defeat, people will say, hey, okay, he lost, but the dude put on. He went in there and fought, man. Versus you sitting back here just trying to pinpoint this guy versus this guy. Okay, this guy versus this guy. And then these guys don't want to fight each other. What are you doing? Other than wasting our time. It's your money to waste. But nobody cares. Nobody cares to see this shit. And even to talk about him in Holyfield, the smartest thing I heard Mike Tyson say was, nah, it's not going to happen. I value my friendship with Holyfield too much. What the fuck you gonna call that if they fight? The old bull? Like, bro. Just saying. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.